This is Fred Beck from Fred Exciting, proudly sponsored by Empire Fight Store. And I'm very lucky, joined by Cynthia Conte. So thank you very much for coming on, Cynthia. It's good to see you, mate.
Thank you for inviting me.
So you're joining
No,
me.
I have to say, when you did invite me on the show, you're like, you told me about yourself, but I'm like, I already know you because I've seen you on the WBC pressers or the media calls. And I'm like, this kid knows his boxing. So I already knew you before you even told me about you.
Oh, bro, I always find it weird if other people see me doing other things like at the presser. Yeah, that was the one before the end of the year, the Christmas special one.
Yeah, everyone got a gift but me. I was so sad, but it's all right.
No, because they were doing those quizzes at the end, weren't they? Where everyone was kind of getting.
Yes.
You didn't get anything?
No, I think I was like, maybe two of us didn't get anything. I'm like, wait a minute.
That was me. That
I
was me as
did.
well. Then I didn't get anything either.
I thought you did.
No, no.
Okay, well then we're in the cool club then.
Oh, so were you being a reporter in that press conference then?
I'm a WBC ambassador, and I'm a reporter for Ring TV, which is Ring Magazine's YouTube channel, and I have my own channel, The Real Fight with Cynthia Conte. So I've been with WBC, their ambassador for 6 years, 6, 7 years, as long as I've been in boxing.
Oh, okay. So say you're going to interview Richard Cinnamon, would you still have to ask him the tough questions if you're still a WBC ambassador? Or where would you come to that level?
Absolutely. I mean, I drill. You can even ask Mauricio. I have drilled him about Dillian White before he finally got the chance to be the man. Well, he's been a mandatory for like a million years, but I'm like, when is Dillian White ever going to get his chance? Or the whole franchise, the franchise title. Oh my God, when that came out, I'm like, what is that? I had to like text him. And when I would see him at the fights, I'm like, if I don't understand that, then the normal casual fan will not understand it. And a lot of writers that have been in the business still couldn't understand it. A lot of people still don't understand it. So it doesn't matter. I still do my job because I'm a fan just like you. We want to understand why things are the way they are, why there's certain belts, why are there too many titles in certain sanctioning companies, why isn't someone getting a mandatory shot when they deserve it, or why when someone gets popped for peds, why are they still able to fight someone? So it's my job.
Oh, okay, I understand. Oh, that's quite interesting, actually. Yeah, because say you're interviewing someone you're good mates, then maybe you might, because you've got the friendship, then maybe you don't want to press them on a certain thing. That's good. You still.
No, because there's a lot of people that can do that, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I have to be able to do my job and ask the right question, but not in such an abrasive way where they feel attacked. And that's for any journalist, but it just depends on how one goes about it. So if someone's going to say, well, you did this, as opposed to, can you talk about what happened? So it's all in the wording.
Okay, that's quite interesting. So tell me, Cynthia, I know you kind of graduated from university, and you did. I got it written down here. Radio, TV. So you've always wanted to be kind of a reporter, always want to kind of work in media in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. I love the camera. I mean, I grew up in front of a camera, not necessarily a reporter or a journalist, but either in pageants or doing singing. I've always been in the spotlight and somehow, but I just I love talking to people. I love getting answers, just finding out what's going on with them, spilling the tea. And but just getting the story about one person is very fascinating to me.
When you do interviews, how come you always want to do it in front of the camera? Did you have a cameraman going with you? Was it difficult at the start? Was it just you at the start?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The very, very beginning, what we do, YouTube is foreign. I mean, I'll be 43 this year. So I started like 6, 7 years ago. I didn't know. I hope I can curse, sorry. But I knew dick squat about YouTube. I mean, I still kind of really don't know how to do it, but but the whole different type of media, it's like the one I'm so used to is you have a cameraman, you're the reporter, and you have an editor, you have people to do the job. I was a one man or one woman person. And I was just kind of thrown into the trenches. Then a lot of people don't know that I did basically intern for Ring TV, Ring Magazine's YouTube. And that's where I really learned the ins and outs, and just our colleagues that I'm always with, because we're a very small group of YouTubers or people with their own cameras. And, when you have to shoot yourself do your own questions, you have to edit, and you have to try to get the scrum. It's so hard being at 3 different places at one time. You obviously know that, but you just make it happen. And luckily with Ring, I do have a photog, Daniel Morales, who's been with Ring forever. And so that's when I do my on-camera ones. But then there's times I'll bring my own camera when Daniel can't make the fights. I'll shoot myself, or I'll have a colleague help me, because we all help each other out, because they know if it's not in focus, there goes the interview. If there's no sound, trust me, it's happened. Dylan, oh my God, Deontay Wilder had the best interview. This is before he fought Fury. I think he was fighting. Oh yeah, it was for the Fury 1 fight. There was no sound on my camcorder. I had a little camcorder, and luckily my friend was filming at the same time. He filmed my interview. So I was like, oh my God, there's no sound on my mic. Because I think Deontay, Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder was one with Fury. He accidentally pulled the cord out of my mic. And so when I went back into post, I'm like, oh my God, this is like, God forbid this ever happened to you, but it's happened to a lot of us. And luckily I asked my friend Steven from KO Artists, I go, do you have the sound? And we were able to like dub the sound onto my interview and make it happen. But there's a lot of challenges that go with shooting by yourself, and even shooting with people, because you always have to make sure the mic is plugged, the batteries don't die, you have room on your SD card. It's it's a lot of stuff. But yeah,
that's got to be one of the most disappointing things, getting a perfect interview of someone who's trending in the news, and then suddenly you realize the sound's gone. But did you originally want to be a weather girl before all of this?
I did. I really did. I still would love to, but in California, there's really no weather. I mean, global warming. It's bad, but I do. I just I've had some, not a lot, but I've had some training in doing the green screen, and everything is like opposite. So what you're seeing is opposite. So I'm like, it's really hard, but if I wanted to really become a weather girl, it would have to be a meteorologist and move where there's actual like thunderstorms, snowstorms, things that like I would be important, but I don't like the hours. So that's why I got out of news. And so I'm like, no more.
Boxing's a lot more interesting to report on working rather than being a weather girl though, isn't it? You chose the right route.
I did. It's one of those, I created my dream job. I didn't think it would even be possible, because I really wanted to be in front of a camera and talk to people. And I put my love for boxing, put it together, and it's unheard of, because there's very, very, very few women in our sport. And so for us to do it and continue to do it and do what we love, it's a blessing. And so luckily it's, I love it. I know it. I mean, I can't say I know boxing, like I'm not a genius in boxing, but I know what it's like to get hit. I know what it's like to spar. I know what it's like to be in the ring. When every time I would see a fight, I had my trainer, Paulie Mayorkin, he used to train over at Wildcard. I was like, we would watch the fights and we'd talk about it. I'm like, so what did, say, like Oscar Valdez, when he fought, what could have he done different? And we go through the motions and just, going through the combinations of whoever that fighter at that moment did. And so it's fun. And that's how I really learned boxing, besides just watching it. It was just getting in the ring and actually getting hit. It's not fun. That's why I stay on the other side of the mic.
Do you think that previous boxing experience that really helps you kind of gauge a lot more information, learn a lot more about the sport, and you're able to ask a lot of different questions, more interesting questions? Do you think, like most reporters, they should have some sort of boxing background or experience? They know what it's like. Yes, because a lot of boxers will say, well, you don't know what it's like to be in the ring. And it's kind of true, because if you don't know what it's like to lace up the gloves and train, I mean, I don't train like the way an actual boxer does, but if I actually went through a whole camp, I could be like, okay, I understand. I fully understand what you guys go through, but I understand just a piece of it, just lacing up and just going a couple rounds. And I truly understand when they say the legs go out. I felt that. And I'm like, oh my God, my legs were jelly. So it's like, certain things that I wish reporters or journalists and writers went above and beyond and tried it, get out of their comfort zone. So then a boxer, when they say, oh, when a boxer says you've never been in the gym, it's like, oh, I actually have, maybe once or twice, but you could say you've done it and you understand what just a little piece of what that fighter does go through.
And it also did give me some credibility when I was training at Wildcard, because the fighters would see me. They would see me busting my ass, getting my ass kicked, like looking like a slob kebab, just drenched in sweat. And they're like, Cynthia, I'm like, yeah, yeah, like just leave me alone. But it's those are some of the memories, and those are the things that go into my homework, because training for me is, besides it's staying in shape, getting me back in shape after having a baby, but also I learned so much more. So when I watch a fight, I'm like, I know what combinations they're gonna, well, I don't know what, but I know what they're throwing. It's like 1, 2, 3, just I know the numbers. I know when they say if they're gonna feint, they're gonna slip, they're going to, do a certain combination. Some people don't know that. So they're going solely based on what they think they see. And at least for me, I just have like just a step. I'm not saying I just know just a little bit more than someone else, but that's it.
Okay, so I didn't know that. That's interesting. You trained at the Wildcard gym. Were you training with and Freddie were both there?
Yeah, Freddie was there. He would watch me. His brother, Pepper Roach, would watch. He would train me once in a while in the ring, and they're just like, they'd be like, "Girls, come on, can't box." But I said I'm not a boxer by any means, but they see that I do it, and but yeah, it's it's fun. I mean, I've been doing it for, oh my God, it's been a long. I've been training with my trainer. He just moved to Dallas like 10 years ago, but then I was training with him probably for 15 years. And so he moved from, it was a gym called the Bomb Squad in Santa Monica. And that gym is where all the original UFC fighters fought out of. And like the UFC was like, no one knew UFC. It was like 1 and 2, Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, like, and I'm like, why are these people barefoot? Like, cause I didn't know like MMA, I didn't know jujitsu, I just knew boxing. And, I would see them rolling around on the ground, and I'm with my trainer trying to learn how to hit the speed bag, learning the routine of a jump rope, like, because for me, it's by beats, like by watching and doing a beat in my head. That's how I skip. And they're like, come and join us on the mat. I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, I'm just thinking, you're barefoot. It's disgusting. And now I see where UFC, I'm like, what? I would see Joe Rogan in there. This is like, I'm telling you, this is like before. So I'm really aging myself. Okay.
Yeah, that's quite a long time ago then. Joe Rogan must be working out the fighters. How long was that? Ages ago.
Yeah, this was like, I was in my early 20s, probably my 23. So I'm like oh my God, it's like 20 years. Oh God. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Next question.
Yeah, 20 years is quite a long time. I'm not even 20 years. I'm 17. 20 years is a long time.
You're a baby. Do you go to school?
Yeah, I go to college. I think that's school in America.
Okay. Like, do you go to school? Okay, well, good for you. No, but you're doing a great job.
So just tell me, obviously I'm cautious of your time, but when you're doing interviews, do you feel like when you know the person better, do you feel like you get more out of them? You gain more of a bigger understanding when you're talking to them, when you're better, like got a better friendship with them?
Yeah, I build a rapport. I mean, a lot of them have seen me in the gym or they know my work, but if they don't know me, I have this very uncanny way of getting to know them very quickly, or getting them for them to feel comfortable around me, because I talk to them just like I would talk to anyone. I mean, yes, I'll ask certain questions, but I'm not going to ask off the bat, so how was camp? Like, come on, everyone and their mother asks that. So when I study them, I really get to know them as a person. So when I'm talking to them, it's like, oh my God, how did you know that about me? Like, we've been friends. And so they learn to open up. And I always say, I get them to tell me their deepest, darkest secrets. It's so funny. Sometimes they get in trouble by their trainers, but I'm like, sorry.
You got to give us exclusives, you want to be the first to break the news.
Absolutely. I mean, and exclusives, that's all it is, but it's, there's always an exclusive about something. And sometimes I'm like, there's so much to go around for all of us. So, but if you're the lucky one that gets that breaking news, and good for them, good for them. There's a lot to go around at the table.
Yeah, certainly is. Everyone always gets quite pleased when that one channel, that one news source does break the But Cynthia, I don't take too much of time. I've only got one more question left. How do you think? How do you think you like being remembered?
I want to be remembered for my legacy is that I shattered glass ceilings and and any kind of barrier that when someone says you can't do this or a woman can't do this, I broke that shit down. Like I kicked it, I bulldozed it down, and knowing that I have a son now, that I want him to be proud of me, that everyone said, it's a man's sport. Women shouldn't do that. It's gory. It's off. I just know that I did the best that I could be, ask the tough questions, and doing what I love, doing it at the same time. That's all I want to be remembered, and to know that it can be done. Like when someone says you can't, or when you have the fear of the unknown, just go do it, because you'll never know. So I always say, take a leap of faith, just trust that the net will appear.
Okay, I understand then. And do you think you'd want your son to box then?
Yeah, you know what I always say, I want him to box. When he was born, I'm like, oh, he's boxing already. Like WBC already gave him his little belt, his little onesie, the onesie with the belt on, like on the, it's on there. But if he doesn't want to box, then fine, he will. But if he wants to play football, which is soccer or American football, whatever his heart desires, as long as he's good at it, because he wants to do it, and he tries his very, very best without giving up. And so that's all that matters to me.
So when he turns professional, he'll be quite high up in those WBC mandatory rankings then.
Mauricio, did you hear that? Probably, you never know.
I'm sure Maurizio can figure something up, but thanks so much for the time. I'm sure we'll catch up soon then, Cynthia. But where can we find you? Social media, Instagram, Twitter, that sort of thing.
You can catch me on Instagram at The Real Fight Girl. You can catch my interviews on my personal YouTube channel, The Real Fight with Cynthia Conte. Twitter at Cynthia_26. Wait, Cynthia? Oh, wait, shit. At Cynthia_Conte. Is it? I don't remember. Yeah, Cynthia_Conte26. And you can also watch my other interviews, the Ring TV ones on Ring Digital, Ring Magazine's YouTube channel, and you will see all my stuff there.
Awesome. Cynthia, we'll catch up soon then, mate. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Fred. I appreciate it.